there is a war on our soul, and most of us don't even know that we are in it. The enemy is lust, distraction, comfort, and cowardice. This video hopefully will act as a wake-up call, because if you do not build discipline and accountability, you will be consumed. This is not random. This is engineered collapse. Lust is the bait, algorithms are the leash, and comfort is the cage. Fatherlessness is the vacuum. Nihilism is the poison, and accountability is what they removed. If you do not wake up right now, you will be owned. Lust turns men into zombies instead of stewards. Lust is not just temptation. The enemy is indulgence, and it is dissolving your will. Lust is completely detached from the moral law. Lust makes women into objects, and pleasure becomes the highest authority in your life. That makes it to where you are controlled by the deepest and darkest desires. Moral law means that there is a right order to sexuality itself, and violating that order produces chaos in that man, even before anybody else sees it on the outside. Repeated stimulation trains the brain to seek this set novelty, and it trains the will to surrender when tension rises. So discipline weakens and cravings become even louder. My claim is that order and chaos and the battle between those two is real and taking effect in your life right now. And I'm sure you know what I mean. And lust is sexual chaos because it vandalizes the God-given purpose of our sexual gifts. It changes sex from a covenant or reverence or sanctity into consumption. For example, when a man promises he will stop, then at night he starts scrolling, he starts fantasizing and relapses and wakes up dull because he traded tomorrow's strength for tonight's relief. The escape route for all of this is chastity as training. Refuse the stimulus and rebuild governance through discipline and confession. Lust does not satisfy desire. What it does is it manufactures dependence. When a man uses lustful stimulation to regulate his emotions, it produces compulsive craving and numbness, because dopamine conditioning trains his brain to prefer relief over restraint. When Jesus said, "Anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery in his heart," in Matthew 5:28, he is telling us to cut lust at the level of attention and habit, not just public behavior. Lust is a mass-marketed product because sex hijacks attention faster than truth does. Algorithms distribute the sexual content because it keeps people watching and keeps them enslaved. Consumerism prefers drained, weak men because it's harder for them to be powerful, create families, and create their own legacy. This makes it to where they are consumers for the rest of their days. Your lust is someone else's business model. So what you could do right now to alleviate this cardinal destructive behavior is, when you're scrolling and you see something pop up that entices you, block it. Say not interested. And if that stuff keeps popping up, just get off of the app. What you indulge in secret becomes what you are in public. Algorithmic addiction hijacks attention, and attention is the gate to the soul. If an algorithm owns your attention, then it owns your life. If the content that you are seeing isn't beneficial to your life at all in some transformative manner, reduce it, moderate it. Don't let it consume you. The enemy is distraction, and it is training you to be weak. Attention is the mind's steering wheel, and what repeatedly captures it reshapes identity, purpose, conscience, and destiny. Endless novelty shortens focus, increases impulsivity, and makes deep work and prayer feel unbearable because the brain has been trained for constant reward. The metaphysical claim is that the logos makes reality intelligible, and when your attention is scattered, you cannot perceive truth with clarity. So chaos then multiplies within you. For example, a man cannot read a book he's interested in for 10 minutes, but he could scroll on his phone for 2+ hours, then wonders why his life feels so foggy and his discipline feels dead. The escape route for this is self-governance. Structure your inputs and practice this governance daily. Distraction is not harmless. It is constantly sabotaging you. And once your attention is hijacked, your comfort becomes your God. When a man consumes endless short-form stimulation that isn't beneficial at all, it produces weaker discipline and stronger cravings, because constant novelty seeking trains the brain to expect reward right now. And delayed gratification is one of the key principles that makes a man successful. And guard what you look at, because it slowly determines who you become. In society, media platforms optimize for engagement, not virtue. Algorithms reward outrage, sex, and spectacle because they increase retention on that social media platform. Cowardly education rarely trains attention and impulse control. So young men enter adulthood unarmed. The algorithm is a serpent that lives in your pocket. Either you control the serpent or the serpent will lead you astray. So what you could do is, when you are focusing on something, focus on it purely. Do it for 20 to 30 minutes without distraction. What you could also do is limit your phone time before bed. Just turn it off, put it on airplane mode, and instead talk with your friend, talk with a partner, or read a book. Even stretch. Stretching is exceptional for you and actually decreases cortisol. Another really good thing to do is, before you do something that is maybe a little bit pleasurable or a little bit comfortable, make sure you do something that is very hard that you either been procrastinating on or pushing back. Make sure that thing gets done before you, say, watch Netflix or watch a TV show or scroll on your phone. Put your priorities in line. And if you're able to do this, you're going to become a much stronger, more competent, and then more confident man. Comfort worship makes men allergic to suffering, so they never become strong. Comfort is not rest. The enemy is the comfort economy, and it is castrating your endurance. Comfort worship is treating pain avoidance as the highest good and suffering as a problem to mediate instead of pressure that forms identity. This mechanism is stress chemistry. When discomfort rises, the brain seeks sedation, and repeated sedation trains the soul to collapse instead of endure. My claim is that suffering is formative, and a man who cannot suffer on purpose will suffer as a slave because his cravings dictate his choices. For example, a man hits resistance in work or relationships, then immediately escapes into lust, sedation, distraction, or binge eating. And months later, his confidence is completely gone because he trained retreat, not agency. The escape route is voluntary hardship. You train endurance and reclaim the ability to do what is right under pressure. Comfort does not protect you, it erodes you. When a man avoids discomfort through constant sedation, it produces weaker courage and stronger cravings because the brain learns to treat pain as emergency and escape as normal. The comfort economy profits off of immediate relief products, not from disciplined men. Culture often deems self-denial as unhealthy, which makes virtue feel suspicious. Algorithms supply endless distraction, so a man never has time to hear his own conscience. Comfort is sold as mercy while it manufactures weakness. Choose one hardship for 30 days. Either that's waking up early, going to sleep earlier, eating well, cold showers, sacrificial responsibility, etc. Endure this for 30 days, and you will notice a revolutionary difference within your character. What you could do also is replace indulgent habits with voluntary service. And then the cherry on top would be no screens 60 minutes before bed. If you cannot endure pain, you will not carry your purpose. Fatherlessness removes initiation. So boys never really become men. And this is one of the saddest phenomenon that has been taking place in culture. Without fathers, boys have to raise themselves. The enemy is abandonment, and it leaves men unfinished and depolarized. Fatherlessness is not only a physical absence, it is the absence of formation, correction, and initiation into responsibility. The mechanism is developmental. Without stable male guidance and standards, boys adopt media and peers as mentors, which trains impulsivity, status chasing, and moral confusion. My claim is that free will requires formation, because raw will without truth becomes chaos, and a man must be shaped into a steward of power rather than abuse it. For example, we have young men learning masculinity through lust and social media, then cannot keep promises, cannot lead, cannot be honest, and cannot endure correction. So then this makes relationships and work and even his hobbies slowly collapse over time. So the escape route is chosen fatherhood. Submit to older, wiser, more knowledgeable mentors, structure, and standards, even if you did not receive them as a child. If you were not initiated, you must initiate yourself. Mentorship and menteeship is a very powerful thing that has been going on since the dawn of time. But it seems like throughout the past 20 or 30 years, we have such an ignorant sense of identity towards older people. you could learn a lot from your elders. When a boy grows up without consistent male attention, it produces immaturity and instability because standards are replaced by impulses and peers. In society, social fragmentation removes the family structure and mentorship networks. Cowardly education systems avoid moral authority, so boys get information without applicability or formation. Corporate incentives benefit from unstable men because they're easier to sell to and they are less likely to build legacy. A fatherless culture produces leaderless men. So it's our responsibility. Be an admirable role model for the kids. They are looking up to you, whether you like it or not. What is your iconography? What is your archetype? And what do you represent? One really good thing that you could do is find a mentor. Find an older gentleman that is competent in a field that you admire and ask him questions. He will be so honored to help you out. And if he isn't, then you probably don't want to be mentored by him. Nihilism starves God-given purpose, and a man without purpose becomes a consumer. Nihilism is not intelligence, it's surrender. The enemy is meaninglessness, and meaninglessness produces addiction. Nihilism is the belief that life has no intrinsic meaning, no moral law, and no final accountability, which is spiritual starvation dressed as sophistication. This mechanism is behavioral. When meaning collapses, the brain seeks substitute meaning through dopamine loops, status chasing, and stimulation, because the human mind cannot function without a purposeful target. My claim is that truth is discovered, not invented, and without a real purpose, the soul drifts into chaos because it has no direction strong enough to govern desire. For example, a man that says nothing matters lives like nothing matters and is shocked that his life becomes exactly what he declared, a loop of pleasure, numbness, and regret. The escape route is God-given purpose under Christ, which is enduring responsibility and adopting sacrificial selflessness. Receive purpose instead of manufacturing it, and obey it daily. Meaning is not optional. You will serve something. When a man believes that nothing ultimately matters, it produces addiction and passivity because cravings replace purpose as the operating system. Jesus says, "What does it profit a man to gain the world but forfeit his soul?" What he is saying is choose soul over stimulation and build your life accordingly. In society, a meaning-starved man is easier to sell to because he seeks identity through products and pleasure. Media often treats moral claims as opinion, so young men receive relativism and call it maturity. Soft religion offers comfort without commandments. This is why nihilism grows inside church walls as well. A purposeless man is profitable to the very same people that control him. What you could do is write down your deep goals, what you want to do in your life trajectory, what you want in a partner, what you want your family to look like, what you want your kids to look like, what you want yourself to look like. Take an hour or 2 or 3 and really assess what your legacy and what your purpose is going to look like. And do this straight for 30 days and do not stop. Keep going relentlessly. Stop living without a mission, and then add daily embodiments that help you get towards that goal, and reduce nightly sedation with prayer or thoughts or even just pondering ideas. Or call your mom or something, dude. Like, there are so many better things to do with your time. If you reject meaning, cravings will anoint themselves as king. The collapse of accountability removes consequence. Thus, sin escalates. A man with no witness will rot. The enemy thrives in secrecy, and secrecy multiplies your proclivity towards sin. Accountability is externalized conscience, a structure that keeps moral law from being silenced and keeps the will from drifting. This is cost visibility. Secrecy lowers the perceived power of destructive behavior, so the brain chooses short-term relief repeatedly until his conscience is numb. My claim is that free will is real, and consequence is real, and hiding does not remove consequence. It only delays it while compounding its effect. For example, a man who lives a double life, eventually his words lose weight because he doesn't even believe himself. The escape route is confession and structure. Bring darkness into light, submit to correction, and rebuild integrity through tracked obedience. Secrecy is not privacy, it is self-destruction. When a man hides his sin from other men, it produces escalated compromise, because shame thrives in isolation and correction never arrives. Social fragmentation isolates men so nobody confronts them. Algorithms replace brotherhood with parasocial relationships. Corporate incentives profit from lonely men because lonely men spend and never mature. Society removes a witness, so your worst self grows unchecked and slowly devours you. So what you could do is choose one man who's very accountable and entrust him with what you are going through, and check in every once in a while and have him ask if you have kept your promises. Darkness cannot survive in the light. Christ is the counter system. Logos, cross, discipline, and resurrection will save you. You cannot outsmart this system. The enemy is flesh as ruler, and you are taken captive by your flesh, and the flesh must be crucified in something higher than itself. The world offers a system of collapse, but Christ offers a system of restoration, truth, order, accountability, and redemptive suffering. My claim is that the Logos is reality's intelligibility. The cross is not decoration, it is death of appetite as king. And resurrection is proof that sacrifice is not wasted, but crowned. This is why Christ explains reality, suffering, and meaning more completely than secular alternatives. He unites moral law, accountability, and God-given purpose into a mission that could withstand pain without escaping into lust. What excuse are you still clinging to that keeps you feeding lust while calling yourself a man? The escape route is daily self-denial and daily obedience. Because cravings only die when they are starved and replaced with purpose. The man you want to become is on the other side of the cross, I promise you. And what is the cross? Well, the cross could be thought of as voluntary responsibility and sacrificial selflessness. When a man practices daily denial under Christ, it produces stronger agency and calmer desire, because restraint strengthens impulse control, and obedience rebuilds identity. Christ says, if anyone were to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Luke 9:23. Deny yourself daily or stop claiming him. Because if you don't deny yourself daily, you're idealizing and sanctifying your flesh over the transcendental truth. A man under the cross cannot be easily bribed by pleasure or controlled by distraction. Lust and algorithms lose power over a disciplined man. The comfort economy fears men who can suffer on purpose because they stop consuming and start building. The cross creates men that the system cannot exploit. Adopt your responsibility daily and carry this out. Over time, you will reinvent yourself completely, and you will be a man that isn't affected by society's turmoil. You will be a man that little girls and little boys look up to. You will change the fabric of reality through taking this initiative. You control your own destiny completely. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my TikTok. My TikTok is doing pretty damn well. If you guys like this video or have any ideas or replies, put them in the comments below and I will definitely get back to them. Check out my one-on-one coaching if you want any help. I hope everybody has a good day, good week, good month, good year, and I am excited to see you in the next one. Peace out.